Tonight's big story, getting back his badge. A Milwaukee police officer who repeatedly hit a handcuffed woman in the back of a squad will be back on the streets.
The Fire and Police Commission ruling today his actions were not enough to get him fired. Our Henry Rossoff live at City Hall with the late-breaking details. Henry?
And the Milwaukee police chief did initially fire that officer, but as you guys said today, the Fire and Police Commission overturned that decision.
It was a clear loss of control.
But the Milwaukee Fire and Police Commission rules late Monday this video showing Officer Richard Shane punching handcuffed suspect Janine Tracy repeatedly in the head while in the back of a squad car is not enough to get Shane fired.
It is a 2-to-1 decision.
I appreciate the commission's efforts in deliberating this. To Miss Tracy, I offer her best wishes, and I hope that she can learn from the event as I have and move on.
Shane's termination by Milwaukee Police Chief Ed Flynn about 6 months ago was reduced to a 60-day suspension by the commission. Flynn testified against Shane during the sentencing phase of the hearing. The chief seemed frustrated at times with the proceeding.
This wasn't a situation of applying force incorrectly. It was just clearly far more force that was necessary to accomplish a proper police purpose. We don't teach them that because somebody might possibly do something that you punch them 5 times in the head when they're handcuffed. It was not an error in determining the degree of threat being presented to him by the suspect.
A spokesman for the union representing rank-and-file Milwaukee police officers says Shane will be back to work in a few weeks. He'll get back pay, less money from his 60-day suspension.
I learned that I got to fall back on my training. I got to be more professional. I still feel I was somewhat justified, but that's up for other people to decide.
Following the ruling, we did reach out to the police department spokeswoman as well as the attorney for the woman who was in the back of that squad for reaction to the termination being overturned. We did not get a response to either of those efforts. Live in Milwaukee near City Hall, Henry Rossoff, Fox 6 News.
Officer Shane will be in that position again. That is part of the job. Does he say what he would do different? Has he learned from what happened?
He does admit that he's learned some things about what has happened. He says he needs to follow his training more carefully, but he says, and he legitimately feels, that his actions were justified because he felt threatened.
Henry Rossoff reporting from a rainy downtown tonight. Thanks.
On a pipeline to the courts, West Shore Pipeline is named in a lawsuit today for this past summer's